We're here to talk about running, but humor me for just a second. Let's say that you're about to pound a nail into a board, but instead of using a hammer, you've got to pound that nail with a shoe. It might work, but it's not the best tool for the job. Running workouts can be like that shoe. Some workouts and training plans might get you to race day, but they might not be the best tool for the job. We all want to feel like we're getting everything we can out of the miles we're putting in, right? There are some small tweaks we can make to our running workouts that don't require any additional time or equipment. They work no matter your speed, background, or athletic ability. And just by making these changes, you'll maximize the effectiveness of the time you're spending preparing to reach your goals. What's up, Motivator? My name is Taryn, and when ordinary people want to accomplish something personally extraordinary in endurance sports, they choose Motive Training Plans. Let's do it. Chrissy here uses our Motive Training app. Before getting into triathlons with our app, she focused on running events. When she got into using our app to train for triathlons, her run training obviously went down because she now had 3 sports to train for. But over the course of the last few years, even with less focus on running, her run actually got faster. She's not training much more, she hasn't lost a pile of weight, and it's not like she was a total beginner before using our training methods. She's just doing workouts that get the most out of the time that she's putting in. What you do in your workouts is probably even more important than how many workouts you do. Training a little bit really well is much better than training a lot poorly. These 5 workout changes will help anyone with any goal and any background in running get more out of whatever the run training is that you're putting in. For the first tweak, who do you think will do better in races? Someone who can be fast for 2 to 6 minutes? Or somebody who can be fast for 2 to 6 minutes, but can also be explosively fast for 30 to 60 seconds, and can also have speed endurance for 8, 10, 15, 30, or even 60 minutes. It's important to become a fully developed runner. So in your weekly speed days, don't just fall into the same intervals over and over like so many people do. In our plans, we do full range intervals in our speed runs, starting with 15 to 60 seconds in the base building season. Then we build up longer and longer intervals from 2 to 8 minutes early in race season. Then closer to races, we build speed endurance with longer intervals of 10 to even 30 minutes. Next, what if you could run using only 60 to 70% of your muscles? You probably wouldn't be very fast, right? Well, that's what most people are essentially doing. Because us working adults tend to sit a lot throughout the day, and let's face it, we're all getting older, our muscles don't all fire as forcefully as they can. So once athletes have learned to run and have adapted to doing some speed work, we really like to include hill-based power running workouts to activate as many muscle fibers as possible. So occasionally in your weekly speed workouts, go find a hill and do powerful 15 to 60 second bursts up that hill so you can access more of your potential. These past 2 workout tweaks with no additional training hours are just changes to your weekly speed work. But what about changes to your long runs? That's where these next 3 changes come in. For the 3rd tweak, you're almost certainly already doing a weekly long run, so let's supercharge it. Most of the year, perform your long runs on trails, full stop. This study found that the more we run on concrete, the more we tend to get injured. In our app, we specifically cue athletes to do long, easy runs that don't include race-specific intervals on trails. Speaking of long runs with race-specific intervals, the next tweak is extremely simple but extremely rare for athletes, but it'll make race day so much easier for you. When we're doing our long runs closer and closer to race day, we should include intervals that get our race pace dialed in. Most people do these intervals at race pace, and this leads to underperformances. Instead, we get our athletes to run these intervals slightly faster than their target race pace, so that on race day you can dial it down a small notch, making race day an achievable step down that feels steady and very attainable, as opposed to having to reach up to a level that you can just barely hold. Finally, the last thing is also with your long run. It's not enough for us to just make it long. We have to make it long enough that the distance of the race that we're training for becomes a total piece of cake. A lot of runners will just run long, some arbitrary distance that feels long to them. But there are specific distances we should work to build up towards depending on the race that we're preparing for. For a 5K or sprint distance triathlon, the long runs in our app build up to 8 to 10 kilometers, roughly 5 to 6 miles. For a 10K or Olympic distance triathlon, the long runs in our app build up to 14 to 16K, 8.5 to 10 miles. For a half marathon or half Ironman triathlon, the long runs build up to 23 to 25K, 14 to 15 miles. And for a full marathon, we actually don't recommend these over distance runs. Instead, we'll run upwards of 3 hours, then go out for another 1 hour run later in the day to ensure that you're not running super long, getting fatigued, breaking down, and inviting injuries. Of course, these tips might sound basic to you, but so many people get into doing the same runs over and over and over, becoming a very undeveloped runner. So all of this will get you so much more out of the hours that you're putting in out on the road. If you're a beginner or age group runner, consider subscribing for our weekly videos made specifically for real people looking to accomplish something amazing in endurance sports. And to not miss any of those videos, make sure you hit the notification bell. If you want to dive more into running, click the video on the screen that will provide you with the exact system to get your low heart rate training system dialed in. This is the most important thing to do in running, but it's also one of the hardest, so we made that video to make it easy for you. Later, motivators.